tukiambiriria nawe, you are a lady.
Yes.
And you're diabetic. We celebrate you, by the way, today.
Thank you.
You are strong. You're
Yeah.
still standing up to now. It's been 8 years, eh?
Yeah, it's been 8 years.
Nuthiete na mbere na kurugama nginya muthenya wa umuthi. Twambiririe na wamenyire atia ati you are diabetic?
So my journey, it's funny because nakumbuka nilikuwa form 2 and when I was in form 2 I remember this time I started tukiwa preps nilikuwa nalala sana. I was sleeping. Nikitoka hivi dinner, supper, nikifika hivi class I'm already tired, so I'll start sleeping in class and then kidogo kukunywa maji excess. Ningemaliza jug mzima in less than 10 minutes. Ningemaliza chai a whole thermos alone. Ningekwenda choo sana. So that's when hiyo yote ilikuwa ina happen nikiwa shule. So when we went home, we went for a mid-term break. One night I remember nilitoka nje kwenda haja for like 5 times in less than 1 hour. And so my dad was like, nini ni mbaya? Nikamwambia nataka tu kwenda haja. And he was like, sioni kama uko sawa, tomorrow you'll have to go to the hospital. So that was on a Monday morning. So on a Monday morning kama kawaida mama kanipeleka hospitali, nikapimiwa. And I remember the sugars were so high that the glucometer is that machine yenye inatumiwa kupima sukari. And the doctor akaniuliza swali, uko na sukari? By then I didn't know what sukari is. I've never heard of sukari. I've never heard of diabetes ever in my life. And so innocently I said no. Sina sukari. Akaniambia, okay, now this is an emergency. Your sugars are so high. Even the machine it's reading high, HI. And so nikarudishwa kwa consultation room and I was given barua to go to a referral letter niende Mama Lucy as an emergency case. And from there, that's when my life completely took a 360 turn. Yes.
Muturire waku ni wacenjirie kuma riria wamenyire you are diabetic.
Yes.
First of all, kumenya you are diabetic. How did it affect your social life, your personal life? Yacenjirie atia muturire waku?
So I'll start with my personal life because now niko diabetic. You know, when you're diabetic, everything around you and within you changes. You don't eat as the way other people eat. You don't drink the way other people live. You don't live how other people live. So transitioning from starting to take sugarless tea, starting to take half a plate of vegetables and not chips or not fries, I think it really affected me in a way. So personally, it really affected me because before I started talking about my condition, I remember when I was told I'm diabetic, the first thing that came to mind is now my lifespan reduce. Maybe hata sitafikisha the age of 30, maybe sitafikisha the age of 20. And also now socially, now that's personal, but in a personal perspective, everything has now changed. My lifestyle has completely changed and sina mtu mwenye naweza relate na yeye nimwambie, you know, now pia mimi niko kama wewe, I'm diabetic because I was the only person. Now socially ilini affect sana because I was in form 2, I was in boarding school. So coping with my new condition, something that I've not well understood, also came as a challenge. Trying to hide my condition from my peers. Even in high school, si watu wengi walikuja kujua. Also, I think iyo kujificha sana, and then mtu mmoja akajua, and then it spread throughout the school. I somehow faced stigmatization. Hata kama I had the support of my teachers and my other friends, my close friends, I think in a way niliface stigmatization because now I wouldn't inject myself openly. I wouldn't test for my sugars openly. I wouldn't explain to people why I'm taking special diet, so I'm taking 5 meals a day because now I have to take breakfast, a mid-morning snack, lunch, mid-evening snack, and then supper, and then before bedtime snack. See, so kuelezea watu why I'm doing all this, it was so overwhelming. Even the storage of my insulin, I remember there was a time when when you're joining when you're reporting back to school, kuna check up at the gate.
Yeah, true.
And so I used to store my insulin because freezer ya shule, freezer ina denature the enzymes of your insulin. So what happened, nilikuwa school matron alinitengenezea container kwenye nitakuwa na preserve. So I used to carry it everywhere because I should have my insulin all the time. So I remember during
The inspection.
One teacher, I'll never forget her. I don't know if I've forgiven her. So one time he saw when she was inspecting my things, akaniambia, na hii ni nini? Umeanza kuleta uchawi hadi shuleni. That really hit me so hard. And I think hapo ndio sasa stigmatization iliingia vizuri. Because now ni kama 3/4 ya shule iko hapo. Everyone is knows. Listening. I'm trying to tell her to lower her tone. It's medication, but she was still hii ni uchawi umeleta hapa. So the matron even had to intervene. So I think that's the darker side of my diagnosis. Yes.
Okay. Kwina atumia aria maikaraga na murimu wa cukari na toria wauga ni muriaga maita maingi in a day ni muriaga irio ta maita matano. Does it come with weight gain? Does it come with weight gain ati ugakora mwiri waku ni ucenjetie na ungihota atia guteithia mundu wi hau nja tuge ni mutumia ni add weight due to this change yate ni afati kuria ni afati gukorwa akiria rucini thaa 4 thaa 7 tuge thaa 10 akaria irio cia hwaini na agokira utuku atanathi gukoma kuria mutumia ni arona mwiri wake ni uracenjia ungihota atia kumuteithia ati kumutara.
So with diabetes, there's something that I think kuna kuanga na misunderstanding kidogo. Diabetes is the umbrella, but kwa diabetes we have type 1. The major types are type 1 and type 2, without talking of the pre-diabetes and the gestational diabetes. So for type 1, kama mimi natumia insulin, natumia najidunga. I can't survive without insulin because now my pancreas, I produce any insulin. And then we have for the type 2s, which is now lifestyle, and many people know it comes as a result of obesity. Ama your pancreas inatoa insulin kidogo that cannot haitoshi kwa mwili yako. So for the type 2s, tunasemanga the kind of meal that type 1s take is not the kind of meal that type 2 take. So type 2 can survive without carbs completely. Because now you see the belly fat, hiyo ndio inaleta mostly type 2s, the belly fat. And what doctors usually tell us is try to reduce your carb intake, or if you can do away with carbs, do away with them. That's for type 2. And then for type 1, you can't do without carbs. So what we normally say is take a quarter of carbohydrates on your plate. Kuna venye tunagawanisha sahani yetu. So in terms of weight loss, ama not gaining weight as a result of this multiple eating, we normally say just reduce your carbs and starch. Asubuhi umekula ngwashe, umekunywa chai, bila sukari of course. Saa 5 don't take food, take a snack. Take at least hata kama ni ndoma, take kitu tu kidogo, hata kama ni mboga tupu, and then lunch venye inafaa. So also exercise itakusaidia sana not to gain weight, because pia type 1 kuna possibility upate type 2.
So inaweza panda, inaweza progress from type 1 to type 2.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you muno. Hoka ni uhoro igi diabetes and uria muteithagiriria andu. Hii mwena gikundi kia tuge airitu kana gikundi kia anake na airitu aria mwaranagiria mukahota guteithania uria mungihota guthie na mbere ona mwena murimu wa diabetes guthie na mbere na miturire yanyu tandu ayake.
Oh yes, we have support groups. There are so many support groups out there, but yenye mimi niko, it's called Kenya Defeat Diabetes Association. So kuna the larger group which consists of both the youth and the old people, and then there's our youth wing, which is called type 1 diabetes support group. And also for the type 1 it deals with most, because type 1s ni teenagers from 35 to below, ndo mostly wanapatwa na type 1. So for the type 1 diabetes support group it's only teenagers, and also but for now the whole group kuna now the KDDA support group. Also under the type 1, the youth wing, we have a podcast group that is called Young and Sweet of UN and Sweet. We also, that's a platform where we share our experiences in educating people, in motivating people, in giving hope to people, and also to try and reach out to the community, because diabetes si mimi peke yangu niko nayo, because kama niko nayo kuna venye na kuaffect wewe. Nikianguka hapa wewe unafaa kukuwa unajua what to do and what not to do, kunipatia first aid. So that's why through our podcast and through our experiences and through our education, we try to reach out even to the society to be able to help them to know how to deal with diabetics. Yes.
Hoka ni uhoro wigi uria muikaranagia na andu a diabetes. Ni ukoraga hena tuge ciana mucemanagia nacio. What is the least age of a diabetic patient uria mucemanitie nake as an individual?
As an individual, the last
mwana munini
mdogo kabisa nimepata ni 3 months.
3 months.
Yes.
Kuga mwana wa mieri 3 na akorwo na diabetes.
Yes. And ndo maana tunasema ni type 1 because sasa hata ukiangalia hakuna environmental factors zimechangia to yeye kupata diabetes. So that's why I said it's mostly it's a pancreas thing. Your pancreas is completely, I won't say dead, but it's unfunctional. So that's why unaweza patata a newborn. But mostly they get diagnosed after maybe a month or 2 or 3. But ule mdogo kabisa nimeona ni 3 months. Yes.
What of technology? Technology ni thite na mbere na gucenjia thini wa bururi wa Kenya no na the Yaroba. Technology is changing and it's evolving each and every day. How can you horo wegi murimu wa shukari? How has technology helped you people with diabetes be able to get medication, be able to know your condition, be able to know what kind of help you need? Technology mutaithĩtie there.
As we all know, diabetes, it's people like to say ni ile ugonjwa ya matajiri, because being diabetic it comes with its own expenses, leave alone the food and the everything. Seeing a doctor only and getting the medical supplies, sometimes, not actually sometimes, it's a hassle because it's expensive. And now with this thing of NHIF, you see, and mostly even when people start getting complications, it becomes more expensive. Let's say if you have kidney failure, you start dialysis. It becomes a challenge to many people. Getting 3 meals a day becomes a challenge. Getting medication, it becomes a challenge. Getting the strips, the glucometer, and everything that diabetic needs, it's also a challenge. But in a way, we appreciate technology, because now with technology, there's something that there's an app we can use to take our blood sugar levels measurements, our blood pressure measurements, and also there's something called I can't remember the name, but inakusaidia inaingiza insulin without injecting yourself, because for type 1s, I'm talking about type 1s mostly because I'm type 1. So instead of using syringes and vials and pens, that technology helps you just set it in a way that kila time ina produce insulin kwa mwili yako, administer to automatically. So in terms of technology, in as much as it's expensive, in a way, at least for those who can afford it, it makes it easier to manage your condition. And also there's an app called AfyaPap that helps people to take their readings using your phone, instead of walking around with your glucometers and strips. Yes.
Thank you. Would you like to encourage a woman out there, mutumia o wothe kana mwiritu wothe umuthi uri muthenya wa muhirigo uyu wa Sarah, tuge nero tha ici you are diabetic, your life is now changing. Your life will change automatically. Ugo watwira mutore waku ni wacenjirie. Tuwe mutumia nero tha ici you are diabetic. Ungihota atia kumumiriria ati ti mwisho kuri you're diabetic, it's not the end of it. Tawe ukoretwo wi diabetic for the past 8 years, na riria werirwo ni wonaga tutangitura muoyo ihinda iraya. Ungihota atia kumiriria mutumia tocio kairetu takau keretwo riu wi diabetic, riu ndufati kuri indo ciina cukari, riu ndufati kuri ati mwigate ya white, riu ndufati kuri ake wena diet yaku as a special person. Umiriria mwiretu tocio.
So before hata nifike hapo kwa encouragement, there's something tunaita kuna social effects, kuna personal effects, kuna psychological effects also. So for psychological effects, that's why we try to advocate for people and to try encourage people to join support groups, because now for support groups kila mtu mwenye ako kwa hiyo support groups ni mtu mwenye unaweza ambia kitu na relate. For example, naweza mwambia saa zingine sukari yangu ikiwa juu, when I'm having a hyperglycemia, napatwa na hasira sana. And then someone else comes and say the same happens to me. Nikiwa sukari yangu ikiwa juu napandwa na hasira, and people don't understand. So that's one importance of having a support group. It's a safe space for people to come and share their problems, and through sharing their problems and people relating, because now if mimi nikuje nikwambie sugar zangu ziko juu, sisikii vizuri, so sitaingia kazi, if you are not diabetic,
they can understand,
you can't understand. Utafikiria maybe I'm lazy or I'm giving excuses. But when you tell someone who has similar condition as you, it becomes very easy. So hapo utakuwa umedeal with your psychological issues, because sharing is caring, and we all want that safe space kwenye utafeel I can be myself without anyone judging me. And also for social effects, nitasema it comes in terms of friends, even in relationship, that is boyfriend girlfriend relationship or fiance or even marriage, because if dating a diabetic person, it means anakuja na package ingine extra. It's not the same way as Karo partner A wants to date you, you are healthy and all stuff. So the only thing that is hindering you too ni hizi vitu za kawaida, personal things. But now when someone comes and tuseme partner B comes and wants to date me, he must understand first there are good days and there are bad days. There are the same way kuna rainy season na kuna sunny season. So I think also in relationship wise, it's something that I saw in our support group. People now even diabetics want to date diabetics because they feel hawa watu ndo wanaweza nielewa. Because if you had, let's say we were to go to somewhere, maybe a road trip, and then your sugars misbehave that morning, do you know you have to cancel that trip?
Dogithi.
Awezi end. Utaendaje kama usikii vizuri? So if you don't have an understanding person, pia hata on top of skari kukusumbua, pia unaona ni kama anakusumbua na pia
anafeel we burden.
Exactly, unafeel ni kama pia we ni burden. And all the other things sasa ni tumeongelelea psychological, tumeongea hiyo ni emotional. And emotional ni the same na social, because now emotionally utakuwa na feel to I don't belong, I don't belong, I don't belong, and that's something we want to kutoa kabisa kwa mentality ya diabetics, because if you don't belong, unataka huwezi ishi peke yako, no one can live alone. And so to encourage anyone who's newly diagnosed or someone who was diagnosed earlier and is going through denial stage, there's something I always say, when you make your condition known to people, it becomes easier to manage. Because now hautakuwa unajificha kama mimi nilikuwa jificha kwenda kujidunga, kupima, kukula. It becomes easier watu wengine wakijua. And kama unaogopa what people will say, people will talk. Kuna vitu zenye hawezi change. It's like niseme I'm not comfortable with my nose. Siwezi change mapua yangu. So it's either ukubali ama ukubali, like there's no option. So ukiambia mtu you are diabetic ama you have this condition or this condition, na uone ni kama hataki stories zako tena, you ondokea. toka, enda utapata mtu mwingine mwenye understands you. So it's not a must ukwamilia hapo now you're all alone, what will I do, people don't want to, you see. So I think people should really accept their condition for them to be able to manage it. Yeah.
Thank you. Gwe kanyaga kagwire ongikorwo wina ritana kuri thirikari he uria thirikari ingihota kumuteithia you as people with diabetes.
Yes.
Is there a way the government can come in hand and help you people? And is there anything you wish to say maybe to the government or to maybe people in the government? We are now entering an electioneering period.
Yes.
Leaders will come in. Is there a way we can, as a society and also the leaders in the various departments in the country, they can come in hand to help you guys?
Yes, there's a lot of things that the government can do, especially in our medical supplies and accessing doctors. Okay, we can be able to access doctors from the government hospitals, but what about the medication? What about the strips? Because now diabetes comes inahitaji everything it's complementary. You need the insulin. I also need my strips to know how my sugars are going. I need food to sustain, to avoid hypoglycemia, that's having low blood sugars. So if I were to talk to the government or appeal to the government or kupatiwa tu nafasi ya kuongea to the government, please, it would be to try and lower the prices of diabetic supplies, from the insulin to the strips to the glucometers and even to the tests, because lazima tufanye tests. Lazima tufanye urine test tuone kama kuna ketones kwa mkojo. Lazima tupime kidneys tuone if they're functioning. Lazima tupime macho, lazima tupime roho. So if there's a way that maybe hata kama NHF can cover all these expenses, itakuwa easier even to the person living in the slums, because now imagine a person living in the slums, he or she doesn't have food. Hata kumanage condition yake inakuwa ngumu sana. Because now niko na dawa, nitakunywa hii dawa bila chakula. I can die because hypoglycemia, low blood sugars, unakufa. And most people die because of low blood sugar. So if at least kama NHIF can cover everything in diabetes, it can come in handy a big time.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Maybe your last words to our viewers as you leave. You can also give us your contact. Agikorwo he mundu urenda maybe ko join the support groups nigetha muhote guteithania na kumaniriria karugaindoini gaka.
So kutufikia, you can just text or call or WhatsApp on 0797 966 578. That's my number. Or you can go to our social media handles, that is Young and Sweet, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Young and Sweet of UN. So that is Young and then and Sweet UNSWEET. Yes.
Thank you, Mama
Asante
Naomi.
sana.